equation of a line through 2 points. Okay, so this is called standard form, you guys, of a line, where everything is on one side. We have whatever's with the x plus whatever's with the y plus our constant term equal to 0. That's standard form, okay? You guys have learned that. And then we have what's called slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. You guys have learned that. Go back up so you guys can see that. So typically when we graph it, we put it in slope-intercept form, you guys. What's the m stand for? The slope, right? What's the b stand for? The y-intercept, right? So we're pretty good at that, hopefully. And we have a new, oh no, we also know this one. That's not new. Nope. Slope, right? Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We've been doing that for a long time as well. All right, so we're actually just going to find the equation of the line that passes through 3, negative 5, and 2, negative 1. Okay, so I want the equation of the line. We're going to start with y equals mx plus b. And the first thing that we're always going to find is the slope, which is the m part. And so the m is always equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which we've done a bunch, right? So if you want to label your points, you can. This would be x1, y1, and this would be x2, y2. Okay. So when we do the slope, we're going to do negative 1 minus negative 5 on the top. Be careful of all the negative signs, right? We're subtracting a negative 5. And in the bottom, we have the x's. So I'm going to do the x minus the x. So 2 minus 3. All right, so chop, chop. Negative 1 plus 5 gives me 4. And 2 minus 3 gives me negative 1, which reduces then all the way down, or simplifies to negative 4. All right, now go back to your y equals mx plus b. What we just found was the m, so we're going to plug this in for m. So I'm going to rewrite my equation with the m plugged in. Now all we need to find is the b. So to find the b, you get to plug in either coordinate point, because what I have here is an x and a y, and what I have here is an x and a y, and what I have here is an x and a y. Whichever point you plug in will give you the same answer for b, okay? So the only other thing we're trying to find is the b. We use one of the points to find the b. So let's use this one because it's a little bit smaller numbers. If it's ever easier, I try to pick the easier one, but it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to plug in negative 1 for y, because that's the y part of the coordinate. And I'm going to plug in 2 for x, because that's the x part of the coordinate. And now we're going to find the y-intercept, or the b. So these two numbers here, you guys, always multiply. They're back to back, right next to each other. So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And now we need to isolate the b, so I'm going to add 8 to both sides. And so negative 1 plus 8 is 7. Okay, final answer is to just have the m and the b plugged in. So y equals mx plus b, you always have y and x in your answer. So our final answer has the slope plugged in and the y-intercept plugged in. All right, same thing. Find the equation of the line that passes through negative 3, and 6, 5. So we're looking for y equals mx plus b. And we're going to start with the slope, the m. Then to find the slope, we do the y minus the y. So always the second y minus the first y. So 5 minus negative 3 divided by the x minus the x. So 6 minus negative 3. So these turn into plus, minus, and negative. So that gives me 8. And minus a negative, another plus right here, gives me 9. All right, so we have a fraction this time for our slope. So I have y equals 8/9 x plus b. So I replace the m with the 8/9. And now we can use either coordinate point to find the b. So I need to plug in for x and I need to plug in for y. I'm going to use 6, 5, just because they're both positive numbers. But again, you'll get the same answer, whichever one you decide. Okay. So I'm going to plug 6 in for x and 5 in for y. Okay, again, we're multiplying the 8/9 times the 6. I would write this 6 as 6 over 1 because I'm multiplying it by a fraction. And then I would cross cancel. So 6 and 9 are both divisible by 3. So 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 goes into 6 2 times. So I have 5 equals, multiply straight across. 8 times 2 is 16. 3 times 1 is 3. And then last step is this b part. We have to subtract 16/3 from both sides. And we have to remember how to do some good old common denominators here. So this is 5 over 1, right? I need a common denominator of 3. So I'm going to multiply that 5 over 1 by 3 over 3. So this gives me 15 over 3, right? And I'm subtracting 16 over 3. So that's negative 1 over 3 for b. Okay, you're going to lose a point if you stop here, right? We're trying to find the whole entire equation of the line. So we have y equals, we plug in the m, which was 8/9. And we plug in the b, which is minus 1/3. This one has something special, so we have to do this one, all right? So write these points down, 4, 3, and 4, negative 3. Okay, we're trying to find y equals mx plus b. And when we do the m, something weird is going to happen. So I have the y minus the y, so that's negative 3 minus 3. And I have the x minus the x, so that's 4 minus 4. So I get negative 6 over 0. Okay, if you have 0 in the denominator, we used to have to know this for the slopes. Anybody remember what that means? Okay, that means undefined. Okay, an undefined slope is a vertical line because you cannot walk up a wall, right? If you were to get 0 in the top, let's just review this, right? If you got 0 over negative 6, what kind of slope is that? That would be 0, which means you would have a flat line like this. Do you guys remember which graph is which is x, which is y? Nico, which one is this? Okay, good. That one cuts through the x-axis, so that one's x. This one cuts through the y-axis, so this one's y. So this equation of this line, if you get undefined, one thing you could do is look at the graph, right? If I just sketched that graph really quick, 4, 3, and 4, negative 3, that would help me. Okay, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. There's point. And for negative 3, we would get this line. Anybody know the equation of this line? equals 4. I could have known that from the very start because what happened here is we had that same number, x equals 4. If you have a repeated number in the x spot, then it's going to be x equals 4. If you have a repeated number in the y spot, then it would be a y equals. You can always graph it to check it though, and if you get a 0 on your slope, you know it's one of the weird ones.